welcome. We will wait a minute or two as everybody starts to find their way into this webinar that we're hosting tonight to celebrate Andover Athletics and to really celebrate all of you. So we are going to give it a 60 seconds or so before we really get going so you can listen to...
Numbers climbing, yeah.
Yeah, so we can listen to our current students as well as those that have come before them and some of our alumni. And we've got a couple right here that are working here with us in the Team Schumann office. And then we've also got some alums from years past that are going to share some of their feedback on what it meant to be part of the Andover Athletic program.
Ms. Phinney, can we use the chat to so kids can tell us like where they're coming in from? Is that possible?
So I think we had disabled it for
not the chat, the Q&A, the Q&A.
Q&A.
Yeah, the Q&A.
Yes, absolutely. So the Q&A is open, and we are going to use that a lot tonight. We hope you guys send us lots of questions. All right, Sean, Newport Beach.
Sean, I remember I interviewed Sean. Sean's awesome. Welcome, Sean.
All right. Well, we are so excited that you all are here. And again, we're going to direct ourselves, our questions, our postings of where we're coming in from tonight in the Q&A. So feel free to pop in who you are, perhaps what year, potentially, or for certain that you will graduate from Andover, or from high school in general. Awesome. All right. Well, for those of you that are in or just coming in, again, thank you so much for joining us tonight. This is our Andover Athletics webinar. We've got some current students, we've got some coaches, we will hear from some other alums that have actually recorded videos of themselves. Couldn't be here tonight, but they are super passionate about everything Andover, especially their athletic experience. So we wanted to make sure we shared that with you this evening. So we are really, really excited. I apologize for everyone that this is scheduled at the same time that I know there's some big basketball games going on right now. So our resident basketball coach is going to keep us well informed, aren't you?
You ready for the first update? Syracuse is up 54-53 on West Virginia, and that is a 11-3 game. Syracuse are the underdogs, but I think they're gonna win. That's my
he's going for it.
Yeah, I'm putting that out there.
He's putting that out there.
Yeah.
Awesome. Anybody else?
Mr. Ivory offers his predictions with 5 minutes left in the game rather than before the game.
Texas Tech and Arkansas are tied. In Loyola, Chicago, Sister Jean, they got it done against the #1 seed. Did they beat Baylor? I don't even know who they beat. No, they beat Illinois.
All right. Well, we'll keep making sure we give a little time and space for you to give us those updates, okay? All right. Well, we are going to get going here. We are so excited. I keep saying that, right? So excited, but I don't know if there's another word that will actually capture the moment and the feeling of you all being with us tonight and potentially in the future. So just a quick intro, we're going to give a little overview of our goals for this evening. But the main stars of our show are the people that you're seeing on your screen, in our students and our athletic director and our coaches, and a quick sort of video at the end from some of our alums. So just briefly, my name is Jamie Hagerman Phinney. I am a proud member of Team Schumann, which is our admissions office, of course, here at Andover. I also help run a 9th grade girls dorm. I teach in the Empathy, Balance, and Inclusion program, and I coach JV field hockey and varsity ice hockey. And so before I hand it off to Coach Yole, I just want to make sure that we all are sort of headed in this direction here for the next, hour or so, with the understanding that, number one, there are a lot of you here that are on different journeys. Some of you are still on the if Andover is the place where I'm going to call home, what's it going to feel like? Or some of you are already there and you're thinking, when I'm at Andover, I've already decided, but when I'm at Andover, but you're all asking the question is, what is it going to feel like? And the elephant in the room is that we understand we can't have you here on campus this year, and we are forever sorry about that. But we hope that in these sessions and all the sessions you've been to and will come to that you get the feeling that there are buildings and there are programs, but what fills up those spaces are people and culture and community. And I'm a little biased, but I do believe that the space of sport in our lives and what Andover Athletics does in using sport to teach lessons and using sport to unite people is powerful. And the way we do it at Andover is really powerful. And so I want to make sure that that message is clear, that that's our goal, and how we do it changes year after year. And you're going to hear tonight from the present. You're going to hear from the kids that are living and breathing Andover Athletics right now. You're going to hear a little bit from the past, from our alums who are coaches, from alums who want to make sure that you understand what Andover Athletics has done for them in their life and is currently still doing. But you guys, as cliche as this sounds, those of you that have logged in tonight, you are the future. And we want you, we need you to carry forward all of the messages and the culture and the community that we build at Andover, and specifically how we do that through sport. And so to give you a little bit of overview of how we do that, I'm going to hand it off to my dear, dear friend, Lisa Yole, who is our current athletic director here at Andover.
Thanks, Jamie. Hi, everyone. My name's Lisa Yole, and I'm so excited to see so many folks and a lot of familiar names in the chat. So I am so fortunate to be the athletic director at Phillips Academy, and I cannot wait. In the next couple days, our students are arriving, and for the first time in a year, we are staring down a spring term and a spring season where we have currently scheduled over 110 contests for Big Blue athletes. And I cannot wait. I just cannot wait to see everyone. I can't wait to see our students in uniform and get back to, for so many of both our students and the adults, the things that we love, which is cheering on the Big Blue. Let me tell you a little bit about the athletic program at Andover. And then I'm going to share a little bit about the values that we share across all of our programs. And I'm going to turn it over most importantly to our students. So first of all, I just want to reiterate what I think most of you know, is that athletics is a co-curricular component of the Andover education. In other words, that means when you come to Andover, every single student is required and asked to participate in the athletic fitness program in every single term that they are a student here. And they get one term off and maybe they're 11th and 12th grade if they'd like. But the reality is most of our students like participating in all the different offerings we have. Just under half of our student body, so we have over 1,100 students, just under half of our student body participates each term in interscholastic sports, a varsity or a JV team across 21 different sports. And again, many of you out there, you know exactly what sports you love and you can't wait to try out for a team and participate in those teams. Some of you might see sports like crew or track or squash, things you've never seen or heard of, and those are also sports that you might start when you arrive at Andover. So again, half of our students participate in the interscholastic program. The other half of our students enjoy each single term to choose from well over 15 options in 3 different buckets that I'm going to quickly describe to you. The first is what we call sort of our life sports. We have many fitness options, from yoga to spin classes, to power walking, to lifting classes. We also have a dance program that's extraordinary. You can come to Andover and every single term you are here, participate in dance as a way to fulfill your co-curricular athletic requirement. And again, you can start on the first day of ballet or modern, or you can come here with years and years of experience dancing and do that for your entire time at Andover. The other couple important and fun options we have outdoor pursuits for those of you interested in outdoor education. You might want to hike or kayak or canoe or rock climb. And then finally, we have a pretty extensive intramural and instructional offerings that a lot of our students across all of our grades really enjoy. So those are our offerings, and what we assure you is there is something, and probably many things, that you will like to do, but you can only do one a term. So sometimes it's making choices at Andover is the hardest things because there's so many wonderful things you can do. I'm going to quickly tell you about the values and the culture in athletics. That is really important to not just me as the athletic director, but every single coach and every single player who participates. First of all, we embrace inclusivity in our athletic program. Everyone has a place, everyone belongs. And that means in the locker room, in any of the classroom spaces. You belong there, and we are going to help you move from where you are to where you'd like to go as a young person, as an athlete, which is so, so important to us. We're also grounded in the school's mission of non-SIBI, not for self. So this is not a program that is going to celebrate individuals and think like it's all about that person who can run the fastest or swim the fastest, but instead it is the power of team and family. And all of our teams emphasize how important family is. We believe strongly in sportsmanship, in teamwork, and just in being your very best, not necessarily being the best. So with that, I'm going to turn it back to Coach Phinney, and we're going to hear from our current students, and then we're going to really be excited to answer your questions. But great to see all of you here.
So thank you so much. All right, before we get to the kids, because they really are the show, can I ask my colleagues in Coach Brown, Coach Graber, and Coach TI to do their intros so that we know who's with us tonight?
Start off with KG. KG, let's go from oldest to youngest.
I even remembered to unmute myself as the oldest. But hey, I'm Kevin Graber. Everybody here calls me KG. I get to do a bunch of different things here at Andover. I live on campus with my wife and 3 kids. I help run a dorm for 9th grade boys called Feast House. I teach a class called Foundations in our Empathy, Balance, and Inclusion curriculum. I'm an academic advisor. I'm the advisor to the 11th grade class. I'm a dean in the Office of Admission, and I coach varsity baseball. So that's one of the best things about Andover is all the different things you get to do.
Trey, who's older, me or you?
Come on now.
All right, sorry. I'm Coach Ivory, but people call me TI. I work in admissions here as well. I teach a class, an EBI class like KG. And I also graduated from the school. I did a postgraduate year way back 21 years ago. Back in when Y2K was happening, 1999. And I've been working here for 9 years and so excited about being able to speak with some of you all tonight.
Look, me, I'm the one messing up. I'm the youngest one messing up with the mute. But everyone, welcome. My name's Coach Brown. This is my 4th year here at the school. Just like TI, I was also PG, but way later. I graduated in 2012, originally from California. But on campus, I work in admissions. I live in upperclassmen boys dorm with my girlfriend and 20 plus plants, no kids yet. But and I'm also the head football coach. I also am an advisor to 5 awesome kids, then an advisor of the Brotherhood, which is one of our affinity groups on campus. But just like KG said, it's just a wonderful job to see you guys, whether that's on the fields, on the pass, in the dorm, but also just doing your thing and being your best self. So welcome. We hope you guys have a great day. Have a great time with us today.
Awesome. Thanks. All right. Myra, you want to kick us off?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Myra. I am an upper, so a junior at Andover, class of 2022. I live in Andover, Mass, so I'm a day student. I play soccer at Andover, and I run track as well. Lisa is not only the amazing athletic director, but the coach of GBS, the varsity soccer team, and we love her. She's the best. We're so lucky to have her here. And one thing I wish I knew before I started PA, this is sort of cheesy, but I wish I just knew to enjoy every moment, because we missed almost a year so far due to the pandemic. Of in-person interaction in sports. So I can't wait for this term, but I wish I enjoyed it more when we did have everything in person.
Awesome. All right, I'm gonna go across my screen. So Molly, you're next.
Hi, my name is Molly. I'm a senior, so class of 21. I'm from Trumansburg, New York. I'm currently on the field hockey and hockey teams, but I've also run both cross country and track in the past at Andover. And kind of like Myra, I know it's cheesy, but it's so true. I just wish I knew like how quickly it flies by. Just finished up our last hockey season, and I would just do anything to go back and be a freshman again. So yeah.
Awesome. All right, Miles, you're next.
Hi guys, I'm Miles. I'm a senior from the Bay Area and I came in as a new lower. I play football with Coach Brown. And then in the past, I've played JV basketball and run track. And one thing that I wish I knew before coming to Andover was like, always like never hesitate to try something new because there's just so much support for those new things. Even if like you've never done them before, but you see them and you're interested in them, there's always going to be people that are like help you start out or help you get going. So never hesitate to try something new.
All right, Zach.
Hi everyone. I'm Zach. I'm also a four-year senior. I'm class of 21. I'm from Oakton, Virginia, and I play varsity water polo, swim and dive, and track and field. One thing that I wish I knew before I started PA was like similar to everybody else is just like try as much as I can, or I wish I tried as much as I could and enjoyed it as much as possible. But also the food at Commons is really good, like honestly. So
Awesome. Yes. Well, that's a great value to us as competitors and athletes and everything that we're doing. Got to stay fueled. So that's huge. All right. All right. So we're going to jump right into it. I've got a couple questions that I'm going to send off to our students. And then we're going to take all of your questions. So please keep firing off questions into the Q&A. And if there are things that we can answer as we go, my sidekicks here are going to answer them in the Q&A. But if it's things that we might all benefit from hearing responses on, we're going to hold on to those and then farm those out to everybody else. All right. So the first one that I'm going to actually ask all four of our students here to answer is, when you were making your decision on whether you were going to say yes to Andover, what were the questions you were asking yourself? What were you looking for? What did you need to learn more about? What were those things, perhaps those tangibles or intangibles, that you were like, if I'm going to spend 1 year, 2, 3, 4 years at a place and call it my home, what do I need to know? So you guys can you can decide who goes first, but you're all going to do it.
I can start. So I think a big thing for me was I'm originally from a pretty small town. So I was going to a small school, then driving a couple hours to practice every night. So a big thing for me, which whether athletics is your thing or if it's something else, was balance. And I wanted somewhere where I didn't have to sacrifice my academics for athletics or vice versa. And Andover was somewhere where I knew that I could do that. And not only do that, but do it at pretty much the highest level possible for both academics and athletics, which was kind of what sealed the deal for me.
Yeah, I can also speak to that. Like similar to Molly, one of the things that I really needed from Andover was like structure and balance. Because you come in wanting to do like all these different things, like have really good academics, really good extracurriculars, you want to play your sports. And the schedule at Andover is so great for that because there's like blocked out chunks of time for you to do each of those things and not feel pressured or overwhelmed when you do them.
I agree with both of those. I also wanted to know about the community and how like the sense of like companionship was and like camaraderie on the teams especially. I knew how smart and how great everyone at Andover was at whatever they do or whatever they love to do. And I wanted to know if non-civi was actually something deeply ingrained in the community. And it is.
Yeah, adding on to what everybody else said, I'll like, especially what Myra said about the community, that was like a huge thing for me. Just because like in my past and like middle school and like even before, like some, especially like athletics can be like really competitive, and like at the place at Andover, like where, you have a lot of elite students coming around from all these different backgrounds. It was good to know that, like the competitiveness was something that brought everybody closer and it made like the each team stronger. And that was just a huge thing. So.
Awesome. Great. All right. So I think I'm gonna send this one off to the students, but I also would love it if there were adults here that could sort of give their adult view on how they help kids choose. So of course we know Andover is on the bigger side. And with that comes a lot of options and a lot of things. And Miles was saying there's so much to do and you want to do it all. We do have a great schedule that kind of keeps you compartmentalizing things, but you still have to make some choices and you can't do it all. So how do you choose? Who's helping you? Who's guiding you? How do you start new things if you've never done field hockey, if you've never done basketball, if you've never run track, or you've never done a club? Or, I mean, how do you start something? And is there a space for the kids that want to just start stuff? Anybody?
I can start. I'll start that off. As the head football coach, we have kids every year that try to come out and play football, and we welcome it. Come one, come all. Even thinking of our captain, who's going to Wesleyan next year, Ben Carbo. He started off his freshman year. He didn't make JV soccer, and he was like, I'll try football. He came out and loved it. You don't know what you don't know here at Andover. So whether that is in the athletic realm or even a club you never thought of taking or even just a class, Andover is a spot where we encourage you guys to step out your comfort zone, or even, just ask questions, be yourself, be your best self. And, just come to us as coaches, but also the upperclassmen. They're there for you guys. Miles, Molly, Myra, Zach, all of them have been in your positions, and I'm pretty sure they leaned on their upperclassmen, their captains, to just fill out what is best for them, or just to ask questions. But we're also here for you guys as well. It's a big family here at Andover.
I think that's really well said, Mr. Brown. And just to add on to that, the overwhelming majority of the coaches we have in our athletic department love when kids play multiple sports. I coach baseball, and baseball is a spring sport. And since I'm the baseball coach, you might think I would want kids playing baseball year round. And it's 180 degrees the opposite. I love when baseball playing kids play on Coach Brown's football team. I love when they play on Mr. Ivory's basketball team. I love when they try cross country or soccer or instructional squash. I think that by playing multiple sports, you become a better athlete. And by becoming a better athlete, you become better at your sport. So, I think that's one thing that's important to understand about the Andover athletics experience, is it really is encouraged to play multiple sports.
Yeah, going off of what Mr. Brown said about upperclassmen, one thing that definitely guided me towards the sports that I do now were my friends. So, a lot of us pushed each other to because try new sports in different seasons. And, one of the motivating factors was that we were doing it together. So, that was, it was a good time. So that was something that helped me.
Definitely, especially I'm on the track team, and as a freshman, there are a flock of other freshmen around you trying this new sport, track, that so many of them have never tried before. So there's always the sense that you're not alone trying these new things. And as all of these coaches and Zach said, it's definitely encouraged.
Also, during the sports, you can have so many mentors from adults, but also upperclassmen, like Coach Brown said. So one of those for me was a senior in my dorm named Pablo, and I came to the football team halfway through the season. I moved up to varsity, and he was amazing, and it was just so nice to have a bunch of people from all other parts of campus, and seeing them on your team and guiding you through.
Yeah, I would also say, I think something you probably already received a little bit is that Andover students are just really nice. And that's, I think, not just admissions advertisement, it's very, very truthful. And I think that's what you'll find when you go to try a new sport. So I played field hockey my junior year for the first time ever. I never held a stick. And I just for my teammates, for my coaches, for my captains, everyone really, really wants you to succeed and wants their team to be better and wants you to enjoy it. So my coaches would like take me aside and teach me all the things, the basics that I just hadn't learned. My captain would stay after practice with me to teach me things. And I think another side of it is Andover's the perfect place to try new things. And sometimes that also means letting go of other things. So I came in running cross country, and I had run for a couple of years, like very competitively, and it was like a huge part of my life and a pretty big part of my application. And when I decided that I really wanted to try field hockey, I can say that I wasn't nervous at all about like giving one thing up to try something else. My coaches from cross country were so supportive. They came to all my games. Like I went back to watch races. So I think if you come in doing something and you love it, and then you just find something else that you want to try, you like, no one's going to hold you back. Everyone from every aspect is totally there for you.
Awesome. Really great. Thank you. So a quick question that many of you are asking right now is about preseason. So Coach Yole, could you talk to us a little bit about how do we do that specifically, obviously for the fall, because everyone's coming in new, but then again, how do we structure it when you've got a winter season right in the middle of the year and then for spring?
Sure. So we have a invitation only preseason for the fall. And what we encourage you to do is to be in touch with the respective coach, and you can find the coach's emails on the website, and share your interest and let them know. And they, again, they will often tell you what the guidelines might be to determine who comes back for preseason or who might just wait for a few extra days and come back when all the new students come back. So typically, preseason begins right around Labor Day, about 3 days before our new student orientation. So again, there is a short preseason, and the best way to determine if you might attend that is to be directly in touch with the varsity coach. When the fall season is ending, the winter season's beginning, and there's sometimes, if teams make tournaments, a slight overlap of a tryout. But if you're Molly, you're still playing on the field hockey team, and the field hockey players can't go to the hockey tryouts, and that is no problem, because as soon as they can, they will get to that tryout. We don't make them sort of double up. They want them to finish their seasons well before they go on to the next. In non-COVID years, many of our spring sports have spring training trips. And those two are by invitation. So again, what we want is, and what we believe is, if you love a sport, there's a team for you here. And in talking with the coach, they might guide you best, depending on your background and your experience, where it is you might think about entering the program.
Awesome. Thank you. That's great. Miles, you played JV basketball. You played varsity football. Can you talk a little bit about the balance that you found in both of those, and differences but similarities, and how we continue to find culture across levels of all of our sports?
I think one of the main differences is like the focus between them. Like on JV basketball, there was a huge emphasis on player development, so that way you'd be ready once you're up to the next level. And on varsity football, we're about winning. And varsity basketball, I know Coach TI, it's about winning. You're trying to go out there every time and get that win. And on basketball, it's about one, having fun. On JV basketball is about having fun and player development. And so there was a little more like leniency to build more camaraderie with your other teammates, and really focus on becoming a better player for later.
Awesome. Great. Do either of any of our coaches want to add in a little bit about our development and across how we do things within a program? So within girls soccer, how do we develop our players, and do we see much movement and or basketball, baseball, football?
Yeah, that's a really great question. And I would say it depends sport to sport and year to year. So, the girls soccer program has a great tradition of probably about a quarter of the team beginning in the JV program. So what we really want to encourage kids is to play on the team that you make. And sometimes kids come to Andover and they hope that they just make varsity from day one. And that is actually pretty unusual. It's unusual at any high school, public included, to be a 14-year-old ninth grader and immediately make a varsity program. And what we tell you is, you want to, as a young player, develop your skills. You want to, on game day, be able to play and not sit on a bench. And so again, what we just urge you to think about is, development comes from training, from persisting, and we don't want folks to, as we know about Michael Jordan didn't make his varsity basketball team, right? So if JV is good enough for him, I think it's a good place for a lot of our kids to grow confidence. And we've seen in the girls soccer program in particular, a lot of our captains actually began in the JV program, and they just really put their nose down. They worked hard. They developed leadership skills. So I think there's something to be said about developmentally appropriate progress in sports.
Can I add on to that with that development also, communication? I think communication is key here at Andover, whether it's in the classroom, on the athletic fields, in the dorm. I think that communication is extremely important. So, if a kid, doesn't make varsity, let's communicate, like why, or let's find out ways that you can be there next year or maybe even mid-year. What can you do to get better instead of just, it's not just a shun. And just like Miss Yole, Coach Yole said, it's all about development. You got to find ways to get better, and you can't get better in season. There's a lot of work to be put in the off season. And so I'm just communicating ways on how to get better at your sport, ways, talking to other players and what they're doing, and having that communication and that family-like feel of just doing your best to figure out ways where you can improve in every aspect.
Awesome. Well, you read my mind, Coach Brown. Can we talk a little bit about how do we balance kids that potentially have that one main sport, or maybe two main sports, and they would love to try to play it outside of their season, both on campus and off campus? And what do we do to facilitate that on campus? What do we do to support them to, activate it off campus as well, specifically speaking to clubs?
Myra, do you want to maybe jump in? Because Myra is probably one of the top 3 sport athletes at the school, and she plays club soccer. So maybe she can speak a little bit to that.
Yes, thank you. So I'm on GBS, the varsity soccer team, and I also run track in the winter and the spring. I am on a club team for soccer, like Lisa said. So I have that experience of balancing everything. Club sports are definitely supported on campus. They're not forced on any athlete. But if you choose to play club, it's definitely supported by your coaches at Andover, your teachers. Everyone just wants to make sure that you're getting that proper balance, and you're managing everything. So my freshman year, I was running track the full season, and also I had a spring club season. So there were some weekends when I was going back and forth between meets and soccer tournaments, and it was crazy busy, but I personally thrive on that busyness. So it was like the most fun I've ever had. I love those types of seasons. So yes, club sports are definitely manageable at Andover. My co-captain on GVS, Mary Stewart, is from South Carolina, and she plays on a club team in Massachusetts. So she is a boarder normally, and she has learned totally how to nail down club and Andover at the same time while living in South Carolina.
Awesome. Great. Anybody? Yeah, Ma.
Yeah, so I played club hockey all 4 years or 3 years. And I totally agree with everything Myra said. So I'm also from a couple hours from campus, but I've always had day students on the team, day student parents who are always there to give me a ride. I'm not sure how it works for all sports, but for hockey, we play club through the fall season, and then sometimes nationals in the spring. And it works pretty perfectly. So once you get to the 16U level, you just have a practice and a game on Sundays, and then sometimes tournament here and there. So it works pretty perfectly because you have your Andover sport during the week, and then you'll have your meet or your game or whatever it is on that Saturday, and then you'll have the night, and then you have your Sundays all set for club. So like Myra, I absolutely loved it. I would have a meet, be exhausted, eat, go to bed, wake up, meet my other teammates and go play. And it's the life, and everyone really makes it work for you. So.
Awesome,
Jamie,
Zach.
can I add on to a little bit with that?
Please do.
Yeah, no, just to say, I think that one of my fond memories of Michael Cod, who's at Howard now, he sung the national anthem for us. He played left tackle for us, played the football game. We won, and then was the lead role in the play later that night at 7:00, 2 hours after his game. So I see a lot of Q&A questions about how hard it is to balance clubs, sports, and even outside. I think a lot of you guys are multifaceted and can do also performing arts or play an instrument. It's very possible, and I think it's all like once again I said it's about communication. And so Cod would say, hey coach, on Wednesdays I got a rehearsal, so can I leave 15-20 minutes early? Like, Cod, go ahead, leave 30 minutes early. Like, we can't wait to see you on that stage, and have the whole football team rooting him on. I think it's pretty cool to see all of our guys and girls, people in their field, whether that is athletics, performing arts, and even just quiz bowls, math team, whatever it is that you do. We're going to be there to support you guys.
I think the important thing I'd like to always emphasize, because as Coach Graber started with early on, is we really do embrace and encourage the multi-sport athlete. And we also understand the role that club plays in many sports for advancement, for college. For those, and we have about 15% of our senior class playing, continuing their athletic careers in college. I think what's really important is communication and also self-awareness. So as Molly and Myra pointed out, they are sometimes doing their sport 7 days a week. And I think what we know as we get older is there is a toll physically and emotionally to never having a day off. And our jobs as coaches is try to help you think that through. Because what we don't want is that you always feel at about 80% in all that you are doing. And that can happen as you get older. And to remember first and foremost that you are here for your education. So the school's hard. I mean, it's hard to, play a game on Saturday and then get up early and be at club on Sunday, and then have homework and start your week again on Monday. So what we really want to do as adults and as the older players who have juggled this balance is really, really stay attuned to how our bodies are feeling, how our minds are feeling. Are we getting enough rest? That whole program doesn't work if you're not sleeping well, if you're not eating well. And so our job is to really, again, help you balance kind of doing all that you would like to do.
Awesome. So could I ask somebody or multiples, can you just walk us through a day? And in addition to that day, because I know we've done this in a couple of our other virtual events, but for you all, walk us through your day. You're getting up, you take us through to the end when you shut her down at night, but also include the other things that you're doing on campus, right? Because it's not just school and sports. You're doing a lot of other things. So can you walk us through a day, how things are just broken up and everything kind of has its place and it fits together? And if there are overlaps, you communicate. But if somebody or two people could take that, that would be awesome. Maybe Zach?
Yeah, sure. So, in a normal school year, I wake up relatively early. I try to get breakfast before my classes. And the classes start around like 8:30 or so. And generally I have class until, like 10. And then we have like what is called a conference period, which is where you can like meet up with teachers or take that time to, catch up on some work or really anything, whatever you need to do. And then from after conference period, from like around like 10 to like 12 or so, I'll have like some more classes. And then from 12 to 1, more or less. So I'm actually an admissions ambassador on campus. So often some of the weeks I'll, take a part of my lunch to give tours around campus. And I love it. I love meeting, all these potential students. And then I'll grab a quick lunch and then I'll have more class until like 3 or so. And then from basically 3, I want to say like 3 to like 5:30-ish is generally when everybody's at sports. So depending on your sport, depending on, whether it's like competitive or not, you'll have like a different length of practice. And then after practice, dinner, and then generally after dinner, I always go to the library. I go to silent study. It's one of my favorite places on campus, and I just grind out all my work. And then that's pretty much the end of my day. I'm also a student alumni representative, but I can't really, well, so like I've only been that for the senior year, and we've only had like online meetings, so I can't really say where that falls into like a normal school year. But then, so that's like pretty much Monday through Friday. And then on the weekends, on Saturdays is game day. Saturdays are game days, as well as Wednesday afternoons. So on Wednesdays, everybody has a half day. And so, you know, you can have a home or away game, but it always works out. But yeah, it's a lot, but we make it work.
Maybe I can also talk about like game days. So Saturday, you know, depending on whether it's home or away, like if it's a long away game, they might open breakfast early for you and maybe like a couple other teams that also have away games. So you'll be like sitting in there with your teammates. And then you go off to the bus maybe at around like 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, and take the bus to Worcester or, you know, some other school. And on the bus, you might be doing some homework, or you might be trying to get in that like mindset, just prepare for the game. You get there, be in the locker room, you know, chill with your teammates, go out there and play. And then you come back on the bus ride back. Those are usually like the most fun, like, especially if you win, 'cause like music might be playing, everyone's like hanging out. And then you get back to campus, you know, get like back dressed, and then, you know, have either a club meeting, or if it's like a really far away game, you might get back later and you just like go and hang out with people at whatever like campus events are going on that Saturday.
Awesome. Super great. So Zach mentioned it. I mean, there's a lot that we're trying to pack into a day, but also understanding that we don't do this alone. And when it's hard and when that plate starts to fill over a little bit, you're not alone. None of us are. Adults, students, doesn't matter who it is. Students, adults, could we talk a little bit about what do we do and how do we feel it out when that plate does start to fill up a little bit and we're either feeling like, gosh, I've got a lot to do and I'm not sure there's enough time in the day. And to our adults, how do we recognize this and how many touch points and how many different ways are we seeing our kids and what do we do with that?
I can start with saying that there are so many people, so your coaches, your teachers, your advisor, your friends, your teammates that are there to just help you emotionally get through it. But then there are also so many concrete things that Andover does to help you get through this. So for example, there's the sleep room, which you can get excused from a class to go sleep if you're lacking sleep, if you really just need to get some sleep, which is awesome. There's also personal time. You can take a class off once a term to just reset your mind. If you're feeling overwhelmed, it's a great time to reset. It's great. I'm definitely missing a lot more. We have psych counselors in our wellness facility that you can talk to. There's just so many things that I'm scared I'm gonna miss stuff. So maybe someone else can jump in.
I'm going to throw one in as well. The Academic Skills Center, I think, is a really, really good resource. So basically, it's, you know, a group of faculty members that are dedicated to making sure that, you know, if you're having a tough time, they help you like prioritize your work and really like block out your schedule such that you're organized and you get back on that, you know, train of productivity and efficiency. So
I also will say what's neat about Andover coaches is so many of them are your classroom teachers. And so it is not unusual that, you know, for example, on girls varsity soccer, our assistant coach is in the math department. And when we are traveling to away games, you know, it's not unusual that the girls are just taking turns sitting with our assistant coach Nordine and talking about math. Or at the start of the year, we actually as a team share with each other what is a class that you might be able to help a teammate in, or a discipline you might be able to help a teammate in. And so we always share that information. And then we find out like, oh, so-and-so is really, really good at computer science or physics. And the sharing of that, that it's normal to get help and we're here to help each other is part of actually our team and culture here at Phillips Academy.
I also want to add to that. I think that, Coach Ivory and I, and also just talking to all my players, most of our players in season do better academically than they do out of season. I think that, they learn to manage their time better, prioritize better. Whereas in a normal season, if that's not your varsity sport, you have, a lot of autonomy to go downtown to Dunkin' Donuts or hang out in the dine hall for 3 hours and, forget, that you got some stuff due. But I think that in season, a lot of our players are better, are more intentional about how to manage their time, but also intentional about asking for help. Just as, Miss Yole said, there's so many people on your team that love math, that love history, that love, whatever it is, and you can go to them with anything. The amount of kids that I've had at my table at Taylor Hall at 9:30, 10 o'clock, where we're just playing music and they can talk to me about math. I love math, by the way, but it's pretty awesome to see them, or even not even just academics, just going through stuff back home or on campus and referring them to go to psychs, or even just having them sit on my couch for a couple of minutes. The help is here. We're here to help you guys as adults, but also you have tons of captains, tons of even the underclassmen can help you too. So it's a pretty cool community where we hope you guys can lean on one another to, like I said before, be your best self, whatever that means to you.
Can I add to that, Ms. Phinney?
Of course.
Syracuse won.
Thank you. All right. Yeah, thank you. We needed that. Could we talk just briefly about the recruiting process? And for those of you here or those of you that are listening that are aspirational to play college athletics, how does Andover support you? How do your coaches, how does the college office? I have worked in the college office here at Andover, so I'm happy to chime in. But I think that for the students, that's really important. What was your process like or is like currently? And any other tidbits as to what that road looked like.
I can talk about this for a second. So first of all, I think just exposure wise, Andover's a great place for that. So for hockey, we have a tournament at Taft around Christmas every year, which on a side note is like the best time of the year. But also is a tournament where pretty much coaches from every single school I was looking at were there all 3 years. So you don't really have to hassle too much to get that exposure to have coaches see you. And then also the connections from coaches. So I have Coach Finn, who has more hockey connections than probably anyone ever. But I think it's not only that they can reach out to coaches and advocate for you, it's that they really know you and they can help. So when I was making my decision last year, I talked to Finn on the phone for like an hour, and it wasn't just about like, where's the best school you can go? What's the best hockey program you can go to? It's like, what coach will you mesh with? Like, what program do you want to be a part of? Do you want to be somewhere where you're like trying to get ice time? Do you want to be somewhere where you're a leader? And so I think not only being at a school which can connect you to wherever you're best fit, but having people that really know you to help you navigate that is huge.
Awesome.
I would also quickly just say upperclassmen are a great help for a lot of things. So I started my recruitment journey when I was a lower by just reaching out to my upperclassmen on the teams who were already recruited to different colleges. And I asked them how did they start? What did they do? I just got so much advice from them. They were so willing to help out because they were in my spot. So just in general, there's so much collaboration between the upperclassmen and lowerclassmen on teams. Everyone wants to just help each other out, whether it's recruiting or other stuff.
And there's really a place for every level of athletics. I remember my upper year, last year, Coach Brown took a group of students to a recruiting event in Worcester. And he drove them down there. So there's just so much support if you want to go to that college level and play, for you to connect with coaches or go to recruiting events like that.
No, so I was just going to add, Ms. Finney, because you said you worked in college counseling, and I feel like you're underutilizing your like amazingness right now. Can you talk about like how when you were working in college counseling? Because remember, I don't know if you remember Derek Herrick, um, but how did you work with that coach to help that particular kid sort of find a home?
Absolutely, yes. So what's really amazing about our college counseling office is that there's a number of them up there. And so their caseload is not overwhelmingly big, so that they do have the time and the space and the energy to work with our kids and to work really closely with them. And then if they're aspirational for college athletics, to work closely with that Andover coach. And it's just all about communication. And so when a student comes to Andover at whatever year they're coming, whether they're coming in as a postgrad or they're coming in as a ninth grader, they come and talk to us immediately, or they wait until their junior year or whatever it is. And sports have different recruiting processes too. So some sports start really early and some are not. Some are way later, and that's okay. And we understand that because we've gone through it with lots of kids and lots of sports. So just overall, your college, you will have a college counselor that will get assigned to you in the fall of your upper year. So in the fall of 11th grade, if you come in as a one-year senior or or as post-grad, that person gets assigned to you in the summer. And so you start the conversations with them. But again, it is all about communication with the coach. And so, personally, when I was working with TI and I was working with his basketball kids, it was understanding where he would think that this kid, what kind of level, and what are the honest, like what are the coaches actually saying? Because sometimes they're saying really nice things, but what are we reading between the lines to say? Are they saying this to everybody, or is this really directed at Miles? Is Miles the one that they're messaging this to? So I think it's really important that you've got people that have done this and they've done this for a really long time, and that they get it and they know the lingo and they know how to do certain things at what certain times, and to have really hard conversations. I think that's also something that those members of the college office are really, really good at. And they say it with a heavy hand, but they also say it saying, we're going to have lots of options. And that's our job, is to have options. And so that was really fun for me. And now being on the front side and getting you guys all in and saying yes to Andover is just as fun. So question I want to throw out to our kids about sort of meeting and doing things with your team outside of season, perhaps on the more fun side. And whether it's team meals or it's going to certain places or whatever that may be, and then couple that with your favorite memories. So your favorite athletic or competitive, the rivalries, and I think we could all assume what those might be. But can you talk a little bit about sort of that team camaraderie and doing some fun, non-competitive sport things, and then bring it back to your sort of most fun, most exciting team moment?
I can. Sorry.
Oh, Myra, you got it.
Okay, I can start by talking about team prep, which is something that the Andover soccer team goes to every year. So in the summer, usually around mid-August, before the season starts, the entire program, so kids in JV as well as varsity, head up to Maine for team prep, which is just it's a preseason camp for everyone, and it is literally the best time ever. We have so much fun. We play so much soccer, and we do a lot of lifting and yoga and exercising, but then we have so many other things. So we tie-dye t-shirts and we go for runs, and we have so much food in our cabin, and we snack and we make bracelets together. And it's just such a great time. And then I would say my favorite moment would be my lower year when the Andover soccer team beat Exeter at Exeter. It was incredible. That Andover Exeter season was awesome too, in so many different sports. So just overall an amazing time.
Yeah. So I would say my favorite memory was last year. We won our semifinal game of playoffs, and we got to have it at home, which was amazing for so many reasons. It was the first time our program had ever hosted a semifinal game, and we just had such an amazing crowd of fans that showed up for us, both like parents, students, everyone. But it wasn't only the game and the celebration. It was after we had dinner at our coach's house, and then pretty much all through playoffs, our coaches made us like every single meal we ate. I think their families were sick of us because we pretty much lived in their houses. And we like went on a little team road trip to the grocery store, and we went to Dairy Queen and played music in the car. And I just actually got back from a road trip with like 5 of my teammates. So the bonds go so far beyond hockey, or beyond whatever your sport is. But, yeah.
Just quickly as well, like, so what I was gonna say was like outside of water polo season, the boys team really likes to play spike ball. I think if you've never played it before, that's something, it's a huge thing at Andover. But you know, it is competitive, but you know, we have a good time, and relating that back to like competition, like we always like make, you know, these really funny inside jokes. And then there was this one meet for water polo. I think it was against Deerfield, but like literally it was like pretty tense, you know, and then we were in a break, and somebody just, one of the guys, you know, said the inside joke, and it just like made everybody relax, and we ended up winning the game actually. But it's like, I think those small moments outside of the season that, you know, go back in and do big things. So
thank you so much. So I know we're getting down to it, and there are still a lot of questions coming in, so we're going to try to keep answering those. But I do want to hand it over to my buddy, Coach KG. We've compiled a quick video that we want to show you that's actually voices of our alumni speaking about their athletic experience at Andover, what it meant to them, what they've taken years, some that just graduated a few years ago and some that graduated 20 years ago. So KG, if you're ready to fire that up, here we go.
This is Kanu Okike, Phillips Academy, class of 1997. Sports has always meant so much to me. A lot of it was nurtured and developed when I was at Phillips Academy. Andover Athletics is fun. I played on the basketball team, and when we had our Saturday night games and the stadium was rocking, it was definitely the place to be. I played on the lacrosse team, and in college went on to play Division I lacrosse for a nationally ranked team. So I can tell you that Andover definitely prepares you to excel at the next level. Perhaps most importantly, Andover Athletics taught me a lot of life lessons and skills. In cross country, for example, I learned about the value of dedication, perseverance, and hard work.
My advisors, my house counselors, my teachers, everyone was there supporting us, and winning that game on home ice with all those people in the crowd was just an incredible experience for my last time in blue.
My athletics experience, I think, was the best part of school for me. I made the best friends through my sports teams. I looked forward to practice every day. I looked forward to games on the weekends. The competitive nature of all the sports at Andover is incredible, and it really fosters a community that's pretty unique, I think.
I was able to go from somebody who didn't know anybody and really get to know other people of my own interests. A lot of my coaches throughout the years were some of my biggest support systems.
Those were the best 4 years of my life. I have made the most amazing relationships with my coaches that, you know, I still talk to them very frequently, and I made my best friends while at Andover. We had a lot of success. The Andover Athletics is a great program. We won championships, and it was fantastic. And I really have only amazing things to say about it.
Our athletics experience to me was about teamwork, accountability, and most importantly about having fun with your teammates. Andover Athletics will become a family member. It becomes part of your life even after 20 years.
Those guys took the trip over to Connecticut to watch me wrestle at the New England Championships and to support me. And that just really stood out to me as a great example of the amazing relationships that you can build at Andover, and that I've continued to share with those guys ever since.
I formed so many meaningful relationships during my Andover athletic career, with coaches and teammates and more, who I otherwise wouldn't have had the opportunity to cross paths with.
Stands out most about Andover athletes is the joy that they have with them and how goofy everyone is.
Get into sports at Andover, it really was just about belonging to my team, belonging to Andover. And from that point forward, I really felt like I knew who I was and where I was at PA.
And Andover Athletics was just so important in my life. It was, the place where I made great friends, had great teammates, learned how to compete, learned, teamwork, was able to, deal with losing and failure and kind of learn what that was like as well. And the experience was just one that was tremendous for me.
We are Big Blue, and we are so excited for you guys to join us too.
We are Big Blue. We are together.
We are Big Blue. We are hard work and determination.
We are Big Blue, and we have each other's backs.
We are Big Blue. We are tenacious.
We are Big Blue, and we are family.
We are Big Blue, and we are passionate.
We are Big Blue. We are together.
We are Big Blue Fierce.
Woo woo!
We are Big Blue, and we are you.
Awesome. All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. We are a minute over, and we like to keep things nice and tight here. So again, huge shout out to Coach KG, TI, Coach Brown, Coach Yole, and of course to all of our amazing students. We can't wait to see you guys in like days. One thing I can't forget is that at the end of that video, there were 10 adults, and all 10 of those adults are coaches, varsity coaches at Andover. They're also all alums. So just shy of half of our interscholastic sports are coached by people that went here. So that should tell you something about the culture and what we build and how much we want to be a part of this for our life and what we do on a daily basis. So we're excited that you had this time with us and us with you. Again, thank you so much. If you have continuing questions, you want to keep this dialogue going, please, you can find us. You've gotten lots of emails from us. And so respond to any of those and it'll get funneled towards us. All right.
Just really quickly, Miss Phinney, just shout out to you for organizing this. You're amazing. Thank you so much.
You killed it. You killed it. Yeah, good job.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.